That must be crazy to actually have, it's one thing to direct a very, versatile cast of actors, but then to have children in the mix. Was that something that you kind of had to prepare for, or were you even prepared for the craziness that would ensue?
Well, also, the younger the kid, I mean, it's very weird because someone like Daisy, you can just talk to as if you're talking to a 50, 60-year-old actor. And with Colin, he's more of an instinctive actor, if I could put it that way. He's already doing something really cool no matter what, because he's so natural that, he'll give you a few takes of whatever. He does what a kid does, which is, he'll start playing with a toy in the middle of the scene, which is very natural. And then he'll wander off the set and want to go play with toys, which is also very natural. So each of them was a totally different kind of actor.
Did that change up the rhythm of, because you have a scene and everybody's trying to hit their joke and stuff.
Yeah.
By having almost like this kind of unexpected element, did that change up everybody's like way of how they played it then? Or?
Yeah, to some degree. You have to be more spontaneous, I think, when you're dealing with a spontaneous kid, which is a good thing.
To be able to work with the actors that you did, was that, how does one prepare for that? Because, here are these characters that are so loved from previous movies and stuff. So obviously, I don't know, what did you do to kind of like make sure that...
What did I do? I had really enjoyed the other movies, and in particular, the first one I thought was incredibly well crafted. First thing I did was wrap my head around the idea that it's 5 years later, and the character should have grown or changed, a little bit in the way that one does in life. So I wasn't trying to repeat anything. All you do is be respectful and then give your opinions. That's kind of that to me is the essence of directing. It was great, sort of the characters aside, to work with these actors.
What is it like? I mean, did you have a working relationship with Ben or with De Niro prior? And was your first meeting kind of like, hello, sir? I mean, I'm sure everybody when they meet De Niro, they're just kind of like, the temptation to say, like, you talking to me? I mean, it must be there all the time.
Yeah. Well, Bob was one of the producers of About a Boy, which is a film that my brother and I made. So I'd gotten to meet him before, and he won't remember, but I got to go out with him one night to a nightclub. I remember one of the first things I did was say how much I loved King of Comedy, and he kind of didn't respond for a moment. I couldn't tell why that was. With him, eventually the reason that somebody gets to be that much of an icon is because they are very simply into the job of being an actor, and that's something that I can relate to in a good way.
It does seem like he's in some kind of, I don't know, like De Niro 4.0, where he's just kind of loosened up so much, and so did that kind of happen? Did you see that on screen, or do you feel like he's still this consummate actor, like he's just making it look even easier than it did before then?
The thing that I see that one doesn't get to see if you're not directing it is how the actor uses each set of takes. So in any bit of film, you're probably doing 5 or 6, you get to see 5 or 6 versions of it. So you get to see whether the actor is actually using those to try to do something. And he absolutely was using every take. He didn't want to waste a take. And then once you say, okay, great, I think we got it, that's usually when the actor says, can I have one more? And then they do like the best take, because they're no longer trying to think about anything other than, what they're feeling in the moment. I do think he's loosened up, and I think he has his priorities very straight. He's a family person and gets the joke of the weirdness of Hollywood. And at the same time, he's really focused on his work.
The nice thing about this film is we're so comfortable with these characters and stuff. Yeah. So even when we're watching the movie, it seems like it's almost like a natural, like you don't have to set anything up anymore. You just kind of like, hey, it's the Fockers,
It's really true.
And so was that kind of on the script, or was that something that you had to work on to make sure that this was, the version that we saw on screen?
Well, it was a lot of work. Not that part. Obviously, they all had their characters, and John Hamburg, who wrote it, had written on the first 2 movies, so there was a lot of continuity. I was not part of that continuity. I was a new element. I always want the actors to know more about their character than I do, so I'm just lobbing them sort of ideas or thoughts. So it was comforting to me to know that I was only going to be able to